This video is on ordering numbers and fractions and decimals to a certain extent as well. So let's take a look. We got three different types of questions here. Okay, so first we have, we'll say 2/3, 3/5. So you're going to notice we'll go 1/3. Well, the thirds are the same, but then we'll go 1/2. So you got all these different denominators. Right, denominator is the number at the bottom, right, of the fraction. So like the 3 and the 5 and the 3 and the 2. Okay, so they're all different, and so it's hard to compare them, right? And so what they're going to ask you is order these from smallest to greatest. So you could go about this one of two ways, right? So one way is you could find the greatest common denominator of all four and then go and do it. But that really isn't going to be very much fun, and it would take a little bit of time. If you decided to do that, your number would be 30, I believe. But it's hard with four different numbers there. Okay, but we could also just turn these into decimals, right? So 2/3 gives us 0.66. 3/5, 0.60. 1/3, 0.33. And 1/2, 0.50. Okay, now if you don't know how to do that, like how did I come up with all these numbers, then you actually have to calculate them. As you do these enough times, they just sort of come to you and you almost forget how you even do it. But for example, like with 3/5, so if I don't know what that is as a decimal, 3/5 equals, so when we're looking at decimals, they're always out of 100, right? So then I would just have this, and I'd have x up here. X is going to be some number, right? And then we would cross multiply, right? And that would give me 5x, 5 times x, equals 300, right? So 5x equals 300. We'll write it out. 5x equals 300, right? And then to get my answer, I would divide each side by 5. Each side by 5. 300 divided by 5 is 60, right? And that's where I came up with my 0.60 right there for 3/5. Okay, so that's how you would do it. Okay, so now when we have four decimals, now it's a lot easier to line them up. You just count from smallest to greatest. All right, so 0.33 would be first, 0.50 would be second, 0.60 would be third, 0.66 would be fourth. Okay, so there's one, right? They're just really how to turn fractions into decimals. And then go ahead and line them up. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, so sometimes though, it might be that depending on how comfortable you are with decimals, that you find it easier to turn decimals into fractions. Okay. So sometimes people look at 0.001 and it's a little bit confusing, right? So what you would like to be able to see here is that because there are two zeros here after the decimal point, is this one's going to be the smallest. All three of these other ones only have 1 0 after the decimal point, and then there's a number, whether it be 1, 2, or 5. So we would like to know that 0.001 is definitely the smallest, right? And then it would just go 0.01, 0.02, 0.05, and that would be our order. Now, if that sounds confusing, right, just to give you all of your options. So 0.01 is 1 out of 100, right? Sometimes on one question, Fractions look better, and we get to the next question. Decimals look better. Okay, so 0.001. So if a 0.01 is 1 out of 100, 0.001 is 1 out of 1,000. Give myself enough room to write 0.02. Now that's going to be 2 out of 100. And 0.05, 5 out of 100. Okay, now if we were thinking, well, 0.02, how do I know it's not like 2 out of 10? So 0.2 would be 2 out of 10, right? But 0.02 is 2 out of 100. 0.002 would be 2 out of 1,000, and it keeps going on like that. All right, and one more. And if all that is confusing to you, then we just need to get used to, like, well, what's the tenths place? What's the hundredths place? Things like that. And we got a video on that, so just check that out if that's still confusing. All right, one more. So on this last one, so what if they combine it on us, right? So what if it's some decimals and some fractions? All right, so in this case, you really just have to pick which one you like better, right? So almost for sure in this one, it would be decimals, right? Why do we say that? So 0.23 and 0.19 are out of 100. So you could get 1/4 and 1/5 all the way up to out of 100, but they're fairly easy to calculate, right? So when we have 0.23, 1/4 equals 25 out of 100. All right, we figured that out the same way we did with the first problem, right? Where you just go 1 out of 4 equals x out of 100, cross multiply, you'll find that x is 25. Or if you've just done enough of these and gotten used to it, you can just calculate in your head maybe. That's a 0.20, that's 0.19. Okay, so then on this one, it would be, right, then you have to always kind of like go back to the fractions. So you have 0.19, right? The next biggest one is 0.20. That's 1/5. The next biggest one was 0.25. Sorry, the next biggest one is 0.23. And the biggest one is 0.25, which that was 1/4. Okay. So that would be our answer from smallest to largest on that one. So that is ordering numbers and fractions.